Hi guys, Paul from Journey of a Petrolhead. Today we're taking the Land Rover Discovery Sport 2017 on the test drive. We've borrowed this car from our friends at Kevin Giles Motors. Thanks Kevin. KevinGilesMotors.ie to have a look and see what he has in stock. This is currently for sale. Now, we've looked at the interior and we've looked at the exterior of this car, and I liked both, and I was really looking forward to this test drive. And I've taken this car now on a little run already, and what's my initial thoughts? Yeah, I like it. It handles nicely. There's not a lot of road noise, despite the fact that we're running off-road tyres and all that. It's nice. It's got all the various driving modes. I've played with those a little bit, but leave it in general for normal driving, and it's cool. The other thing I noticed is a 9-speed automatic box. I thought it was 8. It's a 9-speed box in this car, and it's very, very low revs on motorway speeds. So the car's hardly using any fuel at all. Very, very economical. Really impressed with that. Now let's push the start-stop button and see how we get on. Don't forget guys, belt up every trip. Now the interior of this, the same steering wheel, same dashboard, same gear shift, even the same paddle shift on the wheel as the Jaguars are doing these days. We test drove a Jaguar F-Pace recently and we had the same sort of controls in that. I preferred the visibility in this to what we had in the F-Pace. We drove the F-Pace, sorry for the bump, we drove the F-Pace recently, and the visibility in this is better actually from the rear, so that's very interesting. I thought that the F-Pace had a larger window, but the visibility from the rear in this is better. There's also a rear camera for parking and lots of sensors. Cruise control, dual zone climate control, heated seats, it's all in here. It's a fantastic car for driving, really, really comfortable on the road. Enough torque delivery when you need it down low, that you can overtake when you need to, and I presume put yourself out of trouble when you're off-road. I'll not be testing this off-road, but I would imagine this is extremely capable, especially as it's built on the new Range Rover Sport aluminium chassis with the weight saving. This car is far superior to the previous generation Land Rover Discovery that came. I didn't like the previous one at all. I thought the shape was a bit wrong. And I didn't really like the finish and the comfort. In this, the seats are extremely supportive, the driving position is great, the visibility is fantastic. The panoramic roof in this particular car sheds a lot of light on things. It really is nice, and as I've said several times, it's like having a convertible without getting your hair wet. Really, really nice. I like the controls. It's all easy to see what's going on. It's the same screen as they use the latest Jaguars, the Jaguar air conditioning, dual zone climate control system. It's nice. It's also got the same electric switches we saw on the F-Pace before, and the Meridian sound system. Meridian is the top of the range sound system you can get in Jaguar Land Rover motors, and it is very, very good. I have it myself in an XF. It's a really, really amazing system. You can change all sorts of things with it. It sounds brilliant, lots of speakers, good quality of noise. And the other thing about this is a 7-seat car, so there's loads of seats behind me here, lots and lots of room for passengers. They're not going to get bored or uncomfortable. There's loads of space, easy enough to get to the boot when you need to. It's a very nice car to drive. The road holding, as I said, is very, very good. There's not a lot of noise. I mean, we're running huge big 20-inch wheels in this with off-road tyres. There's no noise in this car. It's very, very sedate when you're driving. I do like the driving dynamics of this. Nice and quiet when you need it to be. We'll push on when you need it to push on too. I've overtaken a few things here and there. It works very well in that regard. And the brakes are great. The brakes are just great. That's just the end of it. Suspension, there's nice travel on a suspension. It smooths out the bumps, as you would expect from a Land Rover, has to be said. I was looking forward to driving this now, and it's nice. It's standing up to my expectations. I do like it. There's a high driving position as well, so you have a good commanding view all around you. So it's different from a normal car, but it's actually driving very much like a car, although I'm sitting up much higher than I normally would, and I like the view up here. It's nice. If I compare this to the F-Pace that we drove recently, because that's the other SUV we've had on test, what do I think? It's a tough choice. I actually think, to be honest, I prefer this. I prefer the interior of this. I prefer the black interior. I prefer the setup. The seating is nicer. I prefer the rear of this one. This is just a nicer place to be at the moment. Let's navigate this roundabout. You'll notice there's very little body roll here now. It is nice. Bit of torque when you need it as well. So this car will actually get you out of a mess should you get yourself into one. It's nice. Yeah, bit of torque. 9-speed automatic gearbox is a Tiptronic paddle shift. paddles are mounted on the wheel. We all know my feeling about paddles mounted on the wheel. I don't like paddles mounted on the wheel because when you turn the wheel, you turn the paddles and you can't find them. Don't like it. This suffers from the same problem that the Jaguars have. There's no other way to manually override the gear. You have a rotary gear selector down in the middle. You can't choose a manual cog from down here. You have to choose it from the paddles on the wheel. So if you're trying to change gear going around the corner, even though you shouldn't change gear going around the corner, the paddle isn't where you left it. So that's a problem. I'm not a huge fan of that idea. It's not the greatest solution. I thought older Audis did it better where you could manually override on the gear selector. But having said that, the gear ratios in this are fantastic. When you put it into sport mode, it really wakes up and drives down the road quite nicely. And the 9-speed shift, it's well suited to this engine. It's a fantastic engine, 180 horsepower in this particular TD4 badge. You get an SD4 badge with more horsepower. It doesn't need it. The 9-speed box is suited very well here. When you go into manual mode, and I don't know how often you do that, you can change by the shifters. There is the problem that we spoke about, but you know, maybe leave it in sport mode because it's quite nice in sport mode. The screen is nice and easy to see, the controls are easy to get to, and the buttons, while they're not huge, they're obvious as to what's going on. Now, there is one drawback though. If I want to reach some of the buttons for the touchscreen, they're slightly, I'm reaching here, they're a bit far away, I have to lean forward a little bit. So it's just the dashboard is sloped back a little bit, angled away from the driver. That could get tiresome over time. If you're trying to do something and you don't have a control for it on the wheel, that might be tricky. It might be an idea to ask your passenger maybe to change channel or to hit the sat nav or what have you, because it's not easy to reach for the driver. That's a little bit of a small problem. Now, I know I'm not really tall, but that might be an issue. This car also has stop start and eco mode and all the other hill climbing modes and grass mode and all these driving modes, so it will get through any terrain no matter what. There's no problem there. There's good map reading lights, there's a sunglasses holder, panoramic roof again. There's a lot of nice comfortable touches inside this car. So overall, what do I think about driving the 2017 Land Rover Discovery, the TD4 model with all-wheel drive and HSE spec? Don't forget that. That gives us a panoramic roof and the various improvements on the sound system and the really, really comfortable heated seats that are easy to clean if you're off-road. What do I think about driving this? Yeah, you know, I like this. I prefer this to some of the other SUVs I've driven. I've driven the Qashqai, not a huge fan. I drove that F-Pace yesterday, I liked that, and I like this too. If I was pushed to choose between all three, I'm leaning towards this for its driving dynamics, but my one drawback is this, how far I have to reach for the screen controls. Having said that, I do like this. I love the driving position and I like the responsiveness from the engine, and the 9-speed gearbox is fantastic. So, tune in to the next video to see how this actually rates on our score. Come to the conclusion video and like and subscribe as always, guys. And I just want to say thanks again to KevinGilesMotors.ie for giving us a lend of this car for review. Thanks very much.